I would like to begin by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which I live and work, the Gundagara land and people. I pay my respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging, and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. I also want to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the lands on which you, our listeners, are joining us from today. I recognise the deep connection that First Nations people have to this land, their enduring culture, and their commitment to the preservation and care for their country. This land was never ceded, and it always was and always will be Aboriginal land. Hey there, and welcome to Beyond the Surface, the podcast where we explore the stories of people who have survived religious trauma, left high control or cult communities, and are deconstructing their faith. I'm your host, Sam, and each week I'll talk with individuals who have taken the brave step to start shifting their beliefs that might have once controlled and defined their lives. Join us as we dig into their experiences, the challenges they've faced, and the insights they've gained. Whether you're on a similar journey or you're just curious about these powerful stories, you're in the right place. This is Beyond the Surface. Welcome, Marla. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you, Sam. I'm so happy to be here.
Now, I'm going to preface because obviously you said that you are doing 50 podcasts this year, which in 2025, and you are actually my first podcast that I'm recording this year. So I feel like I might be a little rusty. So we haven't recorded an episode for like a month over Christmas and New Year's. But I was just saying it is quite a feat to do 50 podcasts in a year. What prompted that before we get into your story?
I turned 50 on Halloween this year, and to be completely honest, I would like people to buy my books.
Yeah,
And
amazing.
I sit over there on Instagram yapping about my books, and everybody's like, yeah, we already bought them, Marla. I'm like, oh, so I need to go talk to new people? Is that what you're telling me? So I know in my head that podcasts are a way to get in front of new people. But the other part, which sounds less selfish and is equally true, is I just I put off the podcast thing, and then when I do it, I love it. Like I love meeting people. I love talking to them. I love sharing my story. I love hearing their story. Anytime I'm on a podcast, I listen to a few episodes first. If I haven't already been listening, I learn all these new things and I feel hopeful and excited. So I knew this would be really good for
Yeah.
my mental health. I live in the United States of America in 2025, and I need all the good mental health help that I can get. And
Yeah.
honestly, too, the goal might be a little small because as we're recording this, and I don't know when it will release, but it is January 10th, and this is my third interview, and I have three more in January. That's six.
Oh,
6 times 12 is 72. So we'll see.
hit your
But
goals.
yeah, so we were talking before we pressed record, and I told you that back in 2008 and 9, my family of five went to 52 zoos in 52 weeks, which was a lot harder than sitting at your desk and
Yeah.
talking to someone on a
Oh,
podcast. So I feel like I set an achievable, doable goal that won't burn me out. It'll make me, I'm already just super excited.
yeah.
So
It
thank
does.
you for
Oh,
saying
thank
yes.
you. I remember when you emailed and I got it over the Christmas New Year break and I was like, oh my gosh, as if Marla needs to pitch to me to come on the podcast. Your books are fabulous. Your Instagram is fabulous. If people have not seen it, the poetry is just like equally incredibly and insightful as it is funny as all heck. So we love that
Aw.
combination. But okay, so you already mentioned that you are in the US. Commiserations.
Thank
From here
you.
in
Thank you.
Australia. Um, but where in the world or where in the US rather are you at the moment?
I live and work on Salaguetti and Congaree lands, and it is known as South Carolina, the capital city, Columbia, which
Mhm.
is sadly named after a colonizer. I lived in
Mm.
Columbus, Ohio for many years before that, so I could not get away from
Yeah.
Mr. Columbus. Um, but yeah, that's where I'm at. So I'm in the southeast part
Okay.
of the US, and generally we don't get, so it's winter here, but
Mm.
we don't usually get um, snow. The
Mm.
last time I believe was January 2022, I want to say.
Oh.
So it's been 3 years, and today there is some snow in the state. A lot
Mm.
of the southern states have snow. We just got ice coming down from the sky, sleet, I think they call it. I lived in Ohio for 39 years, and
Oh.
Ohio is a lot further north. And
Yeah.
so I grew up with snow and ice. I
Mm.
have driven on the ice, I've gotten in the ditch. I don't miss the snow and ice at all. I've lived here for almost 5 years now, and 5 years in Cambodia before that. So
Yeah.
I have not seen, we drove to the airport when we moved to Cambodia in January of 2015. We drove on solid ice, and that's the last time. And I want that to be the last time ever that
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
that I drive on ice.
Oh my
So
goodness. Yeah. I mean, I'm sitting here in Australia in January and it's stinking hot. So I'm just like, ice would be like, I mean, ice, not generally ice, but like snow in winter. And that just sounds like delightful. But okay. So I like to start these episodes with a super broad, vague question just to see where people start it, which is, where does your story start?
oh my. I'm gonna say, since we've been talking about the weather, it starts on an unseasonably warm um, Halloween morning when I was born in 1975. I love that I was born in 1975, especially in the year 2025. It's like this perfect teeter totter straddling the year
Yeah.
2000. um, so if we're, I know we talk a lot, you talk a lot on your podcast about deconstruction and religion and all that. And I was born into it. I was born to two parents. I was born on a Friday. I'm pretty sure I was in church that Sunday. If not then probably Wednesday night for prayer meeting. If not then the following Sunday.
Mm.
Um, but I was just indoctrinated, baptized, all of that into it. I didn't know. It's just like a fish in water. Fish doesn't know that it's in water. I didn't know that I was in something that had a lot of labels to it. That's what it was. That's um so
I
yeah,
love
that's
I love that you were born on Halloween. It can't, and I just think it's the most ironic, like beautiful thing that like you were just like born to be a heretic. I just love that. It's just like
I
a
know.
full
Isn't it
circle
great?
moment.
Yeah.
Okay, what flavor of Christianity were you raised in?
I I now call it white conservative evangelical Christianity. At the
Great, we love
time,
that flavor.
yes, it's delicious. At the time, I called it Christianity because I
Yeah.
just thought that was what it was. It was
Mm.
the correct way. I mean, everything we did, there were plenty of people who called themselves Christians, but
Mm.
we were the right ones.
Yeah.
I can't, like, the arrogance of that to me is just mind blowing now. At the time, it wasn't arrogance, right? It was just, this is how it is. Like,
Hmm.
it's just facts.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would need all of those labels. As far as a denomination, I've been to Baptist churches, non-denominational churches, Grace Brethren, and if you don't know what any of those are, don't worry about it. It's all pretty much the same.
Yeah.
Very conservative,
Mm.
and I I was good. I was a good kid and a good teenager for the most part. It's funny because ironically, I believed it all, so I wanted desperately to be good.
Mm.
Um, but there's always been something in me that pushed back on things, like
Mm.
questioned my Sunday school teachers or got me in trouble at school or church or whatever. It's funny because I was homeschooled for a little while, then went to a public school in fifth grade. And at church, I was just a completely different person than I was when I started public school after 3 years of being homeschooled. I was very quiet and shy. And one of the kids, his name was David, I think, came to my Sunday school out of the blue. We had this bus ministry. And so he got picked up on the bus. My dad drove a bus. And he comes and sits in this fifth grade Sunday school classroom. And his jaw just dropped because he does not recognize this person. He goes back to school on Monday and he's telling everyone, you would not believe Marla, she talks, she's loud, she's this, she's that. I just felt so comfortable in church because I had been there for so long and I knew so much and all of that.
Oh my goodness. Now, I know from reading Unbelieve that you gave your life to Jesus in inverted commas at the ripe old, very cognitively developed age of 3 years old, right? Which,
yes. And
as a therapist, I have a lot of opinions on.
As a not therapist, I have a lot of opinions on it. I even wrote the poem that you're talking about. I wrote that I would tell people that I was 4 because who's going to believe me that I was 3? And now looking back, I'm like,
who's going to believe you at 4?
That I was 4. Now, in my defense, I was reading by 4 years old. So I was ahead of the game, but come on. Come on.
Yeah, how do you think about that now as like an adult looking back?
It is infuriating to me. It really is. It's sad. It's heartbreaking. I don't remember being terrified of hell, but I've met so many people on this deconstruction journey that said they lived their entire childhoods like terrified of hell. My own sister, I'm not sure if she was scared of hell, but she was scared of a lot of things. So she was always praying, like trying to get saved again, just to make sure. I had the woman who stood up as a maid of honor in my wedding. We were really good friends. We went to Japan together to do our student teaching. And she also, I think even in college was still praying like to get saved, just to make sure. And so, yeah, I don't have a lot of trauma that I can remember around that. I was pretty confident that I was saved, but I cannot fathom little kids. I mean, even now, I have 3 daughters. My oldest is 24, and we're always talking about how her brain's still not fully developed. Like she's very mature. She's grown up. We're like, 1 more year, you'll have a full brain. And then you can decide if you want to be a Christian or not. All of my children accepted Jesus in their hearts, and all of them have decided they don't want him in there anymore. So they've uninvited him or however that works. But it's a mess and it's sad and we can laugh about it, but it's sad. It's sad. And ironically, one of my sisters disowned me. I didn't used to say this out loud on podcasts. I would just say a relative. And now I'm like, who cares? So she has a lot of kids. And one of her kids was 5 at the time. And they were trying to get her to accept Jesus in her heart. And she's like, nah. And they're like, you're going to go to hell. And she's like, nah. Did not care.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, wow. So some kids are like that. They're fine. Who cares?
Yeah.
Send me to hell. I'm good. I'll see what happens. Like,
What do you think gave you that confidence as a young person and as a child that you were, quote unquote, saved?
I do not know. I don't know. I mean, was it because I was smart and I was usually right about things? And so since I knew this for a fact, I'm not sure. But yeah, I don't, there were times I remember I'm trying to work back. I wish I had like diaries and stuff that I wrote back then because I'm trying to figure out did I question things? I do remember when I was 8 years old that my Sunday school teacher either called me a problem or called me something because I would mouth off to him. Like he would say something, I'm like, no, I don't think so. But I'm not sure if I was questioning the Bible or if he was just getting Bible facts wrong and I knew all the Bible facts. I was like, you might want to read that story again because that's not what happened. Because I had read, I don't remember the first time I read all the way through the Bible, but I was probably 9 or 10. So before I could even understand a
Yeah.
fraction of what was in there, I was just reading it because that's what you do. And there's so much in the Bible that is completely wildly inappropriate for a 9-year-old or a 10-year-old
Like a
or a 14-year-old.
giant portion of it, to be fair. Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
so yeah.
Okay. And so what was it like? I mean, how, in terms of like growing up in a space that is ultra conservative, what did that look like in at home in the household that you were raised in?
That's another thing that I have been looking back on and been trying to figure out because I wouldn't describe what I was in as a cult, but that's a very loose, there's loose definitions of cults. I mean, we
Yeah.
followed all these rules and did all these things. So it could have been. But I didn't have to dress a certain way.
Mm.
So I was not wearing anything on my head or wearing a skirt or anything like that. And I have poems in my books about my parents that they had a lot of toxic beliefs. But as far as me being a girl and what could I do as a girl, I could do anything. So
Yeah.
I was playing sports, I was mowing the grass, I was climbing in the hay bales and helping my grandpa on his farm. Um, I was getting dirty, climbing trees, like all I never was told that I couldn't do certain things.
Mm.
And I talked to my parents about this, I want to say in 2019, 2018, 2019. They came to visit us when we lived in Cambodia. And this was after I had already kind of come out as a heretic. But we were talking, and I said to my mom, I was like, okay, now listen, you believe in this complementarian theology, right? Like you're supposed to submit to your husband, right? And that I said, but I've seen you and dad. Like he defers to you, he does the dishes, he cooks, he asks your opinion, you give him your opinion. Like you are not really in this complementarian marriage, are you? And she's like, no. So they're saying that they believe this, but that's
Yeah.
not how they're living. So I had this modeled to me. It
Mm.
was not really a complementarian marriage. And then I married someone who unfortunately wasn't as great as my dad. So he did believe in this stuff and he thought things should be, and that's a whole thing. We can get into that if you want. It wasn't all hellish, but there were times when he was like, yeah, you shouldn't be doing that. This is like a man's thing, or you're a woman. And but yeah, I
I
forget the
mean,
question. Oh, you said what was
oh,
it like? Okay, so back to that really quick.
okay. I forget the
um,
question most of the time once it comes
yeah,
out of my mouth.
that's I say that about 6 times every podcast. What was the question?
Yeah.
No, so we went to church. We went to Sunday school every Sunday morning, then church, and then church on Sunday night, and then
Yeah.
prayer meeting and youth group on Wednesday night. Every single week for my whole entire life. And we had, I mean, most of our friends were from church. My parents did not drink or smoke or cuss. We yeah, we listened to Christian radio at home. I had to hide my cassette tapes of, I don't know how familiar you are with, with groups in the US, but I had Aerosmith, MC Hammer,
Mm.
Sinead O'Connor, um, that I would listen
Yeah.
to on my Walkman, and my parents didn't know. Um, but yeah, and I didn't really rebel that much. I've never smoked, didn't have sex till my wedding night, didn't drink alcohol till I was 34.
Yeah.
So I didn't mind the rules because there wasn't really anything I wanted to do that I couldn't
Yeah.
do.
Yeah, I mean, I guess my question to that would be, did you not do those things or only do those things at those points and those ages because that's what felt right, or that's just what the conditioning gave you as you were a young person?
I had no desire to drink. Like I remember that. And I remember going to a party and people were drinking. And this, I think I was in 8th grade, and it was snowing. There was like a foot of snow. And this one of these kids in my class went out and just puked in the snow and then fell face first in the snow. I'm like, yeah, this doesn't really seem that fun to me.
Not great modeling.
Now, sex, on the other hand, that might have been fun. I had a boyfriend in high school, and we did not have sex. And then other guys that I dated, and then eventually met my husband. And so I think that might have been the one that I would have been into if I didn't think that it was wrong. Cussing, I would experiment with it because it sounded kind of fun, but again, it wasn't really a big deal. And I'm really having trouble thinking of sins right now. Like, what are the other sins?
Well, I mean, I know that you got divorced, so we're hitting that one pretty hard.
Yes. But my husband cheated on me while we were missionaries.
Oh,
so
right.
I think
so you get absolved for that.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Because I didn't leave him. So
the good old divorce. I mean, and also like the good old, there's no hierarchy of sin, but there's absolutely a hierarchy of sin. So like we love that.
Okay, speaking of that really quickly. So I'm writing right now about my 80s childhood. I'm going back and trying to figure this stuff out in my 50th year. And my mom gave me a book. It's a Christian book when I was 10. I remember specifically that I was 10 because the book is called Almost 12, The Story of Sex. And I was like, I'm not almost 12, I'm 10. But she still gave me this book. I bought it off the internet a couple of weeks ago, and it is horrific. And it's talking about don't pet each other, and you're going to want this and that. And it says something to the effect of, there's not a hierarchy of sins, but if there were, this would be the worst. Having sex before you're married would be the worst. Out of all the sins, like, I don't know, murder.
I'm pretty sure queerness will top that every day of the week, to be fair.
Absolutely.
They really hate that.
Queerness, premarital heterosexual sex, murder.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yes. Like that to me is just like a crazy concept. But anyway, I'm curious as like a teenager when, it's the time where you're working out like who you are in the world, who you want to be in the world. How did you relate to the God that you knew at the time?
I spent a lot of time in prayer. I remember one of my biggest prayers was, dear God, please let me marry my boyfriend. Because I was just afraid, like, what if we went to college and then we broke up and I just really want to marry my boyfriend. So I prayed that a lot. I did not marry my boyfriend. But I had a core group of friends. So my high school is very small, 71 kids in my graduating class. Okay. And there were 6 of us that kind of hung around together. And I was dating Jeremy. My friend Rebecca was dating Michael. Then there was Tammy, who didn't have a boyfriend. And then Sylvia was an exchange student from Italy on our basketball team. And we were all Christians except for Sylvia. So we made sure that we witnessed to Sylvia and so that she could become a Christian like us. So we were all Christians. And so I was at a public high school, but it was a very small town. It was very conservative. A lot of my teachers were Christians, or at least went to church. So it wasn't that, it was pretty normal to talk about God, to believe in God. I felt this very strong burden to witness to my classmates, any of them who maybe weren't saved. And I did worry about my boyfriend sometimes because he didn't seem as like dedicated and committed. And he went into a Methodist church, and I wasn't quite sure if they were Christian enough. So I would pray extra for him. But yeah, I mean, God was real to me, and I was in control of everything that I was going to do. And I knew that I wanted to go to a Christian college. Like, I gotta full ride scholarship offer to a state school. And of course, turned that down because that would not be honoring to God. Dadgummit. Like, I wish I would have free college. But no, I went to a Christian university, got a Bible minor, didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. I love to read and write. That's what I love to do. But that's not something you can do for a job. I didn't think. So I knew I didn't want to be a teacher. And I went to talk to the guidance counselor. She told me about some nursing scholarships that I could apply for. I'm like, sure. So I did that. I got $6,000 and was a nursing major, went through some gen ed classes at my Christian school. The first class I took that had anything to do with nursing, intro to nursing, there was blood in a video. I about puked, and I was like, oh, is there going to be blood in this job? Because I don't think I'm going to be able to do that. I'm going to need to change my major. And I was already 2 quarters in. We were on the quarter system then. So I changed to elementary education. I tested out of some stuff. I finished in 3 years, did my student teaching in Japan, taught school for less than 3 years, had some babies. I haven't had a quote unquote real job ever since. Now I write and edit, the thing that I should have done all along, but I didn't know that you could do that. So, but yeah, God was there the whole time. I went to a church camp during the summers. I was a counselor there to help other kids get saved. I have poems in there about kids that I led to the Lord. That's
I've
where I
heard
met
that phrase for so long. I love these episodes because I hear phrases that used to just be like second nature for me, and then I hear them and I go, oh shit, I haven't said that for like years. So
I never want to say it again. But yes, there's one woman in particular. She was 12 in my cabin. I led her to the Lord, and she's now, okay, I'm 49. She's got to be 40, I would say now. And so I wrote a poem in one of my books about her where she said, and this made me feel really good because she said, even with leading me to the Lord and even this and even that, this whole entire time that I've known you in like 25 years or whatever, she said, it's always been about love with you. And that I was not perfect, obviously, and I caused a lot of harm, I am sure, unintentionally and maybe kind of intentionally sometimes. But deep down inside, I love people. I wanted them not to burn in hell. I wanted them to go to heaven. I wanted them to be on the right side of everything. So my heart was in the right place. But yeah, looking back, I don't even, there's a lot. Like I don't wallow in guilt over that. But I'm very honest and very open about, this is what I used to believe. I didn't know this. I thought this. I thought you couldn't be gay and go to heaven. And so that what drives me to talk about it so much now is not a guilt thing. It's just, I want to make things right. I want to make things better. And I don't want other people to be perpetuating harm, obviously. Seems like we're fighting an uphill battle sometimes, though. I don't know. It's hard for me to gauge how things are going, but yeah, I definitely believe some shit.
Did we all? I think though that part of like on a personal level, deconstructing and processing religious trauma is looking at the part that you used to play in that system as well. And I know, like, even for myself as a queer woman, like the harm that I perpetuated onto other queer people as a young person just because of my own internalized, queer phobia and my own sort of like rigid belief system it just meant that I perpetuated a really harmful system as well. And so I think for a lot of people, that is just one of the hardest parts to have to process and unpack and look at, because it puts you in the system that you've now left. And that's really bloody hard for a lot of people to look at.
It is, but it's so freeing and it's so
Yeah.
worth it. And it also, like, I look at it now as I have all of these receipts, like, and
Mm.
these books that I wish were not in the world, where I'm writing to Christian wives to tell
I
them how to
did
be
see
good
the
wives.
list.
Yeah.
I was like,
um,
whoa.
I you can't come to me now and say, like, people still do this. People who don't know my background
Mm.
will say, you are not, you're in a bubble, you're not listening to Christians. If you would just go read this or do that. I'm like, honey, I not only read every single book you've ever read, I've read 500 more than you've read, and I have
Yeah.
written 4 books from a conservative evangelical Christian perspective. I have read the Bible many, 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 many times.
Yeah.
I know it inside and out. So all of that, and I have changed my mind, and I have changed my heart, and I have repented and turned away and asked for forgiveness, and I am now on the side of the people that I was harming and finding ways to celebrate them and all that. So, and I think it gives hope to people, all kinds of people, like people who are in it right now, that, oh, she got out, she's fine, she can do this, or people that I have harmed, and they're like, oh, so maybe every white Christian isn't perpetually terrible. Maybe some of them can be different.
Yeah.
And so I don't, I'm not sad or mad anymore about my
Yeah.
past, and I'm using it, redeeming it.
Mm.
And it's it's been fun, and it gives me stuff to write about.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Um, I'm curious if that, I mean, obviously, in particularly in America, because like obviously, you described it as a conservative evangelical style of Christianity. Did that evangelicalism weigh as a heavy burden on you, or did it just come naturally?
um Both.
Okay.
It was in me, it was deep in me, and that's just all that I knew. But there were times when, if people wanted to come and fight with me and have some arguments about things, I would have anxiety. Like, I need to get this right. I need to make sure that there's no chink in my armor. I need to make sure that I have an answer for everything and anything that someone could throw at me.
Yeah.
And I actually did. And the times that I didn't, I could work around it. I was pretty persuasive. Like I said, I'm pretty smart, so I could use that to wear other people down.
Yeah.
And it probably, some of them, I didn't win the argument. They probably gave up because, not because I was smart, but because they could see I was not moving. Like,
Yeah.
nothing was getting through to me. And
Hmm.
that's how I feel now. There are some people, Trump voters in particular, you cannot get through. There's not a way to get
No.
through.
Yeah.
So I don't bother anymore. Like, that's not where I waste my time and energy. And I have more than enough people coming to me with genuine questions,
Yeah.
really wanting to understand, wanting to know. Like, I have people from my conservative town that I grew up in, that I didn't really even know them very well, asking me, like, my daughter just came out as bisexual. Is it possible for me to love her and love God, or still be in the church? And I can, so somehow they're seeing me.
Yeah.
So whereas other people are like, no more, no more Marla. There are some people who look to me as, oh, I could be safe talking to her about this because I know she understands my background, but I see that she has changed her mind and her heart. So that's the kind of stuff I'm here for. Like, those are the people that I'm here for. And I used to waste a lot of time arguing with people, and I haven't argued in a long time. And I think those people are all gone because I'll post things and no one fights with me. Every once in a while, I'm like, wait, nobody fights with me anymore. Where did they go?
What is it like for you to receive those messages?
It it just feels really, really good. Like it feels really good. I've had so many people come out to me like in a message or something, and it's brought me to tears before, because I could have been the best person ever however many years ago. No way in hell is anybody coming out to me. Like there's not a chance of that, because they're not going to risk what I would say or do or try to save them or whatever. So it's an honor. And it feels like it's just so freeing to be able to love people, not only like in spite of who they are, but because of who they are. Like the way there's just, and queerness as a whole big thing just opens up a whole new world, literally. And I've talked to people before that sex, I wrote a book about sex, like to married women, Christian women, blah, blah, blah. I would go around, speak on sex for all of that. And maybe it's perimenopause, or maybe it's I'm divorced or whatever. It's just not at the top of my mind right now. I'm like, sex, who cares? So when people will tell me like that you deconstructed because you want to have sex, or you're just doing stuff with the queer community and they're all about sex, and I'm like, sex is not, I don't even care about that. If people do care about that, then I'm saying go do whatever you want to do and be free. But I don't, like, that's laughable to me that you think I'm deconstructing for some sex reason. And it's like, I still to this day, 49 years old, have never had sex with someone I wasn't currently married to. So it's not, but yeah, the freedom of being able to love everybody and to want them to be whole. Like my sister told me, sometimes love feels like hate, Marla. And it doesn't. Like love doesn't feel like hate. Love feels like, I want you to be whole. I want you to be who you are, who you want to be, who you've been afraid to be. That's what love is. The only time love feels like hate is if your 2-year-old's waving a knife around and you take it away and she cries, like that, like, okay, fine. But no love should feel like hate to someone. And that's what it feels like to anyone who's queer. If you are conservative because you're not allowed to believe that they are headed to heaven, they're definitely headed to hell. So, but yeah, it's been so great. Like I feel sad. I feel sad for everybody who's not where I am. And I don't mean that in a way like come over here to this exact spot that I am because now I'm right. It's not even about that. It's about me being whole and you being whole and me being free and you being free. And you don't have to be like I am. Like you can be married to a woman. I can be divorced and not married to anybody. Like we can just whatever. You can love sex and I can not care about it. Maybe I'll care about it in a year. I don't. It's like just be who you are, who you want to be, your whole self. And it's just it's so great. It's so great. I love being a heretic. I feel like everyone should try it.
It's pretty fun.
It is.
And I mean, also for anyone listening, for the record, there's a lot of things that queer people care about, and sex is not always at the top of that list, speaking from experience. So we care about a lot more than that. For any conservatives listening, though I suspect they're not.
I'm gonna invite some of them if I could.
Now I know that you did the very traditional good Christian girl thing, which was you got married and you had babies. And so if you look back on those decisions, do you think that they were decisions that you made as you, or they were decisions you made because they knew you knew that that was the trajectory that you were supposed to take?
Okay, that is another great question. So I have this book, where's it at? Called Poem Art Therapy. And it's cathartic word crafting after infidelity and divorce. I don't know where my poems are, so I'll just paraphrase this one. But I talk about how if I had believed it was okay to have sex before I got married, then my husband and I would probably never have gotten married, because that's what I want. I was like, we have to get married because of the sex that we can't have. I think I would have gotten that out of my system. And then I've been like, oh, you and I don't actually have anything in common. Like, I am lusting after your body, but that's about it. And now I don't care. It's so. And then I also have a poem about telling people, get married if you want, but just don't get evangelically Christian married, because it's not a good idea. So did I do it? I mean, I did it for the sex.
Yeah.
And then the babies, I always wanted to be a mom. I played with my baby dolls all the time. I would like, my book that I wrote to moms when I was an evangelical Christian, I have a story in there. I'd have this little sundress kind of thing. I'd untie it, like hold my baby doll up to my boob, like nurse the baby. Like I wanted to be a mom.
Yeah.
So I didn't love every part of being a mom. Sometimes it was hard, and I felt like I wanted more time for myself. My husband was not super helpful. The thing that I always say to people when I look back and say, oh, I shouldn't have married him or this or that, getting my 3 girls out of the deal, like these people that I love more than anything in the world, and they are amazing humans. They're 24, 22, and 19. I wouldn't have them if I did not marry him. So that right there, I would have gone through anything to make sure that they were a part of my life. And I don't know, the whole Romans 8:28, everything happens for a reason, or works together for good or whatever. I obviously don't believe that, but I do believe that there's a lot of redemptive stuff in all the shit that we go through. I have a caveat, which is one of my friends, their baby died when she was just a little over 1 year old. And I kidnapped, like that one, don't ever tell me that God's going to bring something good out of a child's death, or even like someone being raped or any kind of thing that, no, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about something could have been really hard and something good was in there. And that's definitely my kids for me. But I did a lot of, I will say, things around my house that I thought were expected of me, and then volunteering at church in different capacities that were not my gifting and were not interesting to me. So I have not cooked food. Well, okay, so I do make my own, like eggs and bacon. But I don't cook meals. Like tonight, I will tell you what I had right before we started talking. I had salmon, green beans, asparagus, mashed potatoes, stuffing, and gravy as a whole entire meal. My children made it. I did not make it. Like
you trained them well.
Well, yeah, they love to cook. I do not cook. If they're not making something that I can eat, then I get something like some crackers and some cheese or whatever. I do not like to cook. I hate to clean. I have always hated it. I do not like working in the church nursery. I do not like singing in the choir, like all of these things that I did. And I found out just a few years ago that my grandma, my dad's mom, who had books everywhere, she died in 2012. She loved that I was a writer. I found a postcard that she had written once, and she was saying how like her dream was to be a writer, but she didn't think she would ever get to be. She had 7 kids. So she's taking care of all this stuff. Anyway, my dad told me that she would just sit and read and not do the chores. And like my grandpa would do these things, or this, like different things that I didn't know about. That she was like, hell no, I hate domestic tasks. I'm going to read my book.
Yeah.
Like, yes, that's me too. So yes, there was a lot that I did in my marriage
Mm.
that I thought was expected of me. Whereas, like I said about my dad,
Yeah.
he did those things. Like, he likes to cook more than my mom, so he cooks. Like, he
Yeah.
does this, he does that, and that's not how it was in my marriage. Like, I worked from home for a lot of the time. I changed every diaper, took care of every child, did every cleaning, every cooking, all of that. Yeah, it was not a great deal
Yeah.
for me. So now my young adult kids live with me, and I earn the money and pay the mortgage, and they do everything else. Like,
Love
I
it.
am spoiled
Mm.
rotten, and I don't know how long they're going to be here. I hope it's forever, but they probably want to go do some other stuff.
Just keep reaping the rewards while you can.
I know, but it's like, it should be harder when your husband leaves unexpectedly and you're a single mom. And it would be if they were little, probably,
Yeah.
but they're big. So my life has become easier without a
Yeah.
husband, actually.
I'm also pretty lucky in that I hate cooking and my wife loves cooking, and so
Oh,
I always joke with people whether I'm like personally or professionally, that you choose to marry someone. You don't choose to marry someone who is good looking because looks fade. Choose to marry someone who cooks well because hunger does not fade, right? So like that's
exactly.
really what we want. We just
Brilliant.
want to be like
Yeah.
fed for the rest of our lives. Um,
Yeah.
I'm curious whether did you still identify as a Christian when you got divorced and when you found out that your husband was cheating on you?
Great question. I do not know when I dropped that label. I would say that I probably had not come out and said, I am not a Christian.
Yeah.
And it's not like I was hiding it. I just wasn't sure. I didn't really even care
Yeah.
about it. So, um, typically, I think it's been, so this, he left in 2020. It wasn't too long after that, probably, or it could have been a little before, that I said I'm not a Christian.
Mm.
Now, if people ask, I generally say I'm agnostic,
Mm.
um, just because it goes with the whole flow of not knowing. It's more a not caring than it is a not knowing. And if, I mean, I can take the label of Christian as a descriptor for what I was and the things
Mm.
like my background and all of that. But no, I don't. I realized at some point, I think, that, oh, wait, so I don't care that the Bible says this, or that. I don't go to church. I don't
Yeah.
pray. I don't. So why am I still calling
Yeah.
myself a Christian? Um, and so, yeah, it's not a label that I use anymore. But
Mm.
it's funny because I have other poems that talk about how, my friends who are Christians, for a while there, they would say things like, I had 3 or 4 friends tell me some version of, please don't be mad at me, or please don't take this the wrong way, but I really see God in you. And I'm like, no, it's fine. That's cool. But one of my kids told me, isn't it funny that all these people are seeing God in
Yeah.
you? Like, after you quit God, like, you quit and now people see God, which goes to show you, um, that if there is a God,
Mm.
then it's this good version of God that is in me, not the one that makes all the unfair rules and wants rapist felons to be president of the United States. And so on and so forth. So I mean, I'm friends with pastors,
Mm.
Christians, um, and I always am careful, like, especially in my book Jaded, which is the second book in a trilogy. It's called A Poetic Reckoning with White Evangelical Christian Indoctrination.
Mm.
All those important words. And I make sure that I tell people that's the only flavor of Christianity that I am fighting against,
Mm.
to be honest. Like,
Yeah.
because you can be, I always say, I don't actually care what you believe if your beliefs aren't harming people. And I mean, I do care a little bit what people believe, but that's the bottom line for me.
Yeah.
So if you're a pastor of a church, what do you believe? Like, do you believe it's a sin to be gay? Do you believe that women are less than men? Whatever it is, those beliefs harm groups of people, big groups of people who are made in God's image, if you believe in God. And I don't want any part of that. But I currently do not really have anyone in my life that, to my knowledge, holds any harmful beliefs, except my parents. They are the only ones left that I have not just and it's been easy for me. Like, people will ask me for advice on, what do you do if you leave your church or stay in your church, or what do you do when you see people out and about, and how do you do this? I don't know how to do this. I don't have any advice, because I left the United States in January 2015. I was there when Trump was elected. I stopped going to church in 2017, all the way on the other side of the world, moved back in 2020, the beginning of a pandemic, to a new state in a new place where I knew no one except my sister and brother-in-law, the one that didn't disown me. And I have not had to face any of those people. Like, anybody that I know doesn't live by me. They're just on Facebook. So I haven't had that real life problem of changing my beliefs and then figuring out how to coexist with people who don't hold those beliefs.
Yeah. And so, okay, let's talk a little bit about that white evangelical Christianity, because I know that the systemic racism in the US was part of what was a bit of a turning point for you. So tell us a little bit about, I guess, what that was like, and I guess that kickstarting, or I tend to describe it as like pulling on the thread that starts to unravel everything that you have ever believed.
Yeah. So around 2009, I think it was, a Black pastor friend of ours in Ohio was going to start a new church. We call it planting a church. And he asked us to be a part of it. And so we decided to join him. And so really, for the first time, I wouldn't say the very first time in my life, but I had a lot of new Black friends who I was in very close contact with, eat lunch together, go to church together. And in 2012, when a young a teenager, 17 years old, Trayvon Martin, was a Black teen who was murdered in February of 2012. And one of my new friends said on Facebook, "Why aren't any of my white friends talking about Trayvon Martin?"
Yeah.
I didn't have a clue what she was talking about. So I Google it. And this is all kind of a blur to me now, but that was the catalyst. That was the snowball. And I hate that someone's son had to die for me to wake up to this. So the more I woke up, the more, and you know what it's like when you just start to see all these things you never knew. And so it is like this pulling on a thread, because wait a minute. So it's not just Trayvon Martin that got killed. You mean people are Black men are constantly being killed by the police when they're unarmed and there's no reason? Wait, this has been happening all the way. Oh, wait, this is connected to this. Oh, Jim Crow laws, there's segregation, slavery, the prison, like school to prison pipeline, all of, like, it's, I mean, even now there are fires raging in Los Angeles, and they let people out of prison to go fight the fires, and they are paying them $5 a day. That is modern day slavery. It went from they were enslaved, then they were freed, now they're put in prison. Is it fair? Are they put in prison fairly? Probably, most likely not. And then they're what? They're working, they're laboring for completely unfair wages. So it's modern day slavery. So you learn all of this stuff, and then you start to realize people knew about this and they didn't want us to know. They didn't teach it in my school on purpose. These presidents that my parents thought were Christians and the good guys, these guys are the bad guys. It's a flip. And there's a lot of cognitive dissonance, and people oftentimes cannot handle it. I read somewhere that we can only call into question like 5% of what we know at any given time. So I was calling all kinds of stuff into question, which is why I think my sister, I know, disowned me at that time, because I was bombarding her with just more than she could handle. And so from there in 2017, I started an Instagram account called White Girl Learning, where because I realized I'd read so many books my whole entire life, but when I looked carefully at the authors, they were almost all white.
Yeah.
No Black authors, no Indigenous authors, no Latinx authors or Asian authors. So I, at that point, made a conscious effort. So now, I mean, 90% probably of what I read are by authors that are not white, because I'm catching up. Like, I have to catch up on all the goodness that I missed out on for all of those years. And there's so much still to read and to learn. And so that space has been really, really good. Like, it's not just, we can't just learn. We have to act. We have to, but it changes you. It changes your mind. It changes your heart. You just see things differently. And that all kind of came together at the same time that I was deconstructing. And then the last two pieces to fall into place for me, it wasn't until 2017, I think, that I became queer affirming. I kept wanting to be, but I couldn't get, I was like, but the Bible says you can't. And what really finally got me was a man named B.T. Harmon, who had this blog post. It was like a 45-part blog post. He had been praying every day for 30 years that God would take the gay away, and God did not take it away. And something just clicked. And I'm like, you know what? I don't care what the Bible says. You cannot tell me that if there's a God who will not listen to this poor young man pray multiple times a day for 30 years, he won't take the gay away, then what are we doing here? Like, there's no way this could be a choice. He's praying every day that he's not gay. And then the final piece was the whole pro-life, pro-choice, where I had always been just so worried about the babies, and then realizing how much harm was done, how many people supposedly cared about unborn children, but the minute they were born, nobody cared about them. And this control that people wanted over women's bodies, and it all just, whew. And that was it. There was nothing left for me to be worried about in the Bible. But yeah, so the anti-racism journey has been an absolute gift. And that's what I try to tell people. That's what I try to communicate on my Instagram account, is that, yes, there's a lot of hard stuff to learn. And yes, we do need to repent and make reparations and all of that. But there's so much joy and celebration. And it's a whole new world opening up. That's just like with the queer community. It's a whole new world. And it's such a gift, just like it's a gift to me to have someone queer come out to me. And I've been the first person that several people have told, which I cannot, like, I would pay $1,000. I don't have very much money, but I would pay that kind of money. That's like something you should pay for, because it's such an honor. And then to have Black friends that include me in things that normally a white person wouldn't get included in. They don't, just like, queer people don't owe me anything. My Black friends don't owe me anything. None of these people owe me a single thing. So when I am given some kind of access or some kind of honor like that, it's just, a huge deal. And like you had talked about at the beginning of the podcast, like we can say whatever we want, but we don't, on this podcast, we don't do racism or homophobia or any of that. There are times when I have unintentionally messed up. I'm pretty far on this journey, but I would say something, especially like with the disabled community, or a word or something that I've done and I don't realize that I've done it, or something with a Black friend and they didn't, I was centering myself or whatever it is. And people have called me in, like privately told me, oh, that hurts like hell. Like, I hate that. However, I also realize that they get a bunch of shit all day long and they don't bother to tell, like they don't, if they're coming to me to say this to me, it means, Marla, I believe in you. I think that your heart is right. And I still want to be in relationship with you. This one thing you did, can you see how that's not cool?
Yeah.
So even that part is actually really an honor and really great once I get through the sting of not wanting to mess up. And it's not just not wanting to mess up. I don't want to hurt people. Like I hate the idea that I caused someone discomfort or pain, even unintentionally. And the more you work at it, the more you learn. I think of like people's pronouns, the more you practice their pronouns, and then you're not going to mess up because it's going to come naturally to you.
I'm curious, throughout all of that unraveling of, I mean, all of those like systems of, shit in society, basically. But I'm wondering what it was like for you to unravel all of that and unlearn and relearn new things, and the impact that that had on your personal faith and your personal relationship with the God that you had spent years and years and years being in relationship with.
That one is still really tricky for me because I don't know for sure if I believe in God.
Yeah.
But what it feels like, if I can try to describe it, is it feels like the God that I did believe in is still there. I'm just ignoring him. And that is kind of funny because if there's a God, then there's a God. Like, it's not there's a good God and a bad God. I mean, maybe there is, who knows? But I had a lot of Muslim friends who would talk about Allah, and at some point it clicked to me, oh, there's not my God and Allah. Like, they think my God is Allah. And I think Allah is my God. Like, so that whole idea of still kind of believing that there is that God, like that Old Testament God, and then I'm making these hand motions because I don't know I don't know how to describe that. Or still, like, I say I don't believe in hell, but somehow in my mind there's like this mental image. It's still down there. I just don't believe in it, but it's still there. So how is it still there? I don't know. And then there are things in my life that I'm like, another poem is about a God thing. Like, I got together with friends and we used to be Christians, and things would happen and we're like, oh, this is a God thing, but we don't say that anymore. So what are we going to say? And we just decided we're going to say it's a God thing. Like, and we're going to laugh. Like, we're going to say it, we're going to yell it, and then we're going to laugh because it still is amazing. Example, the one that's really at the top of my mind right now. One of my dearest friends, Corinne, lives in Las Vegas, and she and her husband flew me out from South Carolina to Las Vegas in 2021. Like, after my divorce, I hung out with her. It was so healing. And then they did it again in 2023. Now we're going to do it again in 2025. So there is an author who I follow. His name is Tyler Merritt, and he actually endorsed the back cover of my latest book, Whole. And he's doing a book signing at my friend's son's high school in Las Vegas in January. Okay, so She tells me, would you like to come to Las Vegas I've never met Tyler in real life. Would you like to come to Las Vegas to meet Tyler? We'll fly you out. It's January 17th. I'm like, oh my God, yes. Well, then I'm like, oh, Corinne, I have jury duty on January 7th. What if I have to still be, I don't know what to do. She talks to her husband. Her husband says, that's too close. I don't think we should risk it. I'm crying. I'm so upset. Okay, well, then Tyler makes this announcement a week later. Oh, I've changed the date of my book signing. It's not January 17th. It's January 28th or 29th or something. And I say, oh my God, Corinne, he changed the date. Is that far enough away? Can we do that? And she's like, yes, buys the plane ticket. I have a ticket for January. Like, if I would have bought that plane ticket for the first date, I wouldn't have been in Las Vegas for his book signing when he changed it. And then I got excused from jury duty. And I was like, not only like all of this magical stuff, like God had to orchestrate that, right? Well, who knows why that all happened. And here's the thing. Here's the big thing. This is the kind of shit God gets all the credit for.
Yeah.
But all of the horrible things that happen, that's not God's fault.
Absolved. Yeah.
Fires in LA, not God's fault. Hurricanes in North Carolina, not God's fault. This person died in a car wreck, not God's fault. This happened, not God's fault. That's my biggest pet peeve. God, you take all the blame and all the credit, or none of the blame and none of the credit. So for what I have been doing lately, I will take the blame. I will take the credit, not for the hurricanes, but for the things that happen in my life that I that I have control over.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know what I believe about God. There are times when I feel desperate and I will pray, Mama God, like, if you're real, please help me. And I'm realizing all those times that I have 62 journals that I wrote to God. I still have them over a period of 20 years. And I'm realizing, oh, that felt so good because I was writing down my thoughts and getting them out and just asking something for help.
Yeah.
I can still do that. Like, I can still write that out, do this, talk it through. It doesn't really matter if there's a God at the other end of it or not. Because when I think about all the shit that happened in my life while I was a Christian, it's like, really, you miss those days when God took care of everything and worked everything together for your good, like your husband cheating on you while you were a missionary or whatever. So I don't know. I don't know what I believe. And certain people can talk about God and I'm fine. Other people talk in certain ways that just really makes me cringe. And so right now I'm just really enjoying the whole God is not a part of my life. Just like I'm really enjoying not being married. I'm really enjoying not having snow outside to shovel. Like, there's a lot of things that I did for a long time and I'm good right now. I'm good. Don't need to go to church. Don't need to read my Bible. And so, yeah, God, so I've also had people ask me, what if there really is a God? What if you really are going to hell? And I say to that, you know what? If that God exists, and that God is going to send me to hell because I've chosen to love people while I'm here on earth, I'll do it. I will go willingly. I will walk down the steps to hell. That's the choice that I'll make. So fine. But I will not ever again sacrifice people here now because I'm afraid of that hell. And that's what I feel like a lot of people do.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, and also, if hell does exist and that God does exist, hell's going to be full of all the queer people and it's going to be stylish as fuck down there. Like, it's so
much fun. Oh, yeah, so fun. Why would I? Okay. Some of the people that are trying to get me to heaven, I'm like, wait, are you going to be there? Because I'm going to pass on
Like,
that.
I'm sorry, if Donald Trump is in heaven, I don't want to be there.
I'm afraid he'll be in hell. So I
like,
think if we hell, he's also going to be there. We'll put him somewhere else.
yeah, we'll just put him in the corner. It's fine. I mean, that probably leads to like a nice little segue of like, I love one of the biggest things that I've loved is like reclaiming language that I used to think that the church or Christianity used to own. And we've just come out of Christmas, and the language of joy and peace often feels churchy. It feels like Christianity owns that language. And so I love asking people, what brings you joy and peace now?
Oh, um, my two cats. First of all, I had so many cats when I was growing up, and then I didn't have cats for the longest time. And we have two cats, and every day
Mm,
I think to myself, or I tell them, I love you so much, and you bring so much
yeah.
joy and peace to my life. My kids, like I said, they are amazing. Books, you can see the books behind me.
Yes.
Almost all of these are
Yeah.
BIPOC authors. I don't have any white authors on these shelves. The things that I collect, um, friends that I've made online, writing, I make poem art. You know what? I pulled out some poem art just for this. Can I read a poem off of
Yes,
a
please.
Okay, so this is, I don't know if you know Rainbow Bright.
Ooh.
She is a little bit younger than me. I think she just had her 40th birthday. But she was there's a TV show, and then I bought the doll. I bought, do you know Frog and Toad and Bert and Ernie? I
Burton and
make this,
Ernie, yes.
I make this art. This says the gay
Oh,
lifestyle.
I love
The
that.
the creator of Bert and Ernie is gay, and so he doesn't explicitly say that they're gay,
Yeah,
but they were
oh, they
roommates
pretty
the whole
are.
entire time.
Yeah,
And then
roommates in inverted commas.
Frog and Toad, same deal. Both male amphibians who were best friends, but he's like bringing him tea in bed. And so there's a lot of stuff in the States about that Frog and Toad are gay. They are gay. Their creator also was gay.
Yeah.
Okay, so Rainbow Bright, this is a love poem to my queer siblings. I see you over there being awesome, and I celebrate you for all that you are. I celebrate every part of you you've been told to hide, diminish, get rid of, pray away. You are not and have never been an abomination. You are and have always been a beautiful creation. You are so freaking generous, forgiving me for all the years I lived in harmful ignorance. I will fight for you to have every single right I have as a straight cis person in this country. And I will fight to open people's eyes to the fact that we have been taught lies our whole lives. I love you and I love your queerness so very much. Love, Marla. And I take my poems and then I glue them on illustrations from kids' books. So that has been a lot of fun, to do, and gives me very much joy and very much peace. And then I share it with people, and it's just been a fun way, to use my hands and get back to. I used to cut things up all the time when I was a kid, and I'm not very artistic. Like my kids can draw and paint and crochet and do all that. I can do any of that, and I don't want to.
Yeah.
But words, I can cut words out and glue them. I love to laminate.
Yeah. It's about my level of creativity as well, to be
Yes.
fair.
But it's been so much fun again to see people like get excited about my little pieces of art. I've been to a Pride festival 2 years in a row now and had my poem art sitting out and give it away for free. And people come with all their rainbow everything, and they're looking through and they'll start laughing and they call their friends over. Come, like, to sit there while people are looking at the little art that you made is just like another one of those.
Yeah.
This feels so good. And since you asked, I don't know if you've seen my latest book, What Makes You Fart.
I have seen it online. I haven't read it.
So the subtitle is Find Your Passion and Figure Out Your Life by the time you finish reading this book. I have this theory that when you're relaxed and happy and your body is just, then you fart. I fart in bookstores. And it's actually a documented phenomenon, but nobody can figure out why people do it. And I know why, because you love books. Like you
Yeah.
go somewhere, like whatever you love. Anyway, so that's what I try to help people do, is figure out, like, what do you love? What makes you fart? What do you, and it can be anything. Like you can cut things up and glue them and laminate them and give them away. Like that can be your thing, whatever it is that you want to do. So that gives me joy and peace too, is helping other people
Yeah.
figure out what gives them joy and peace.
Yeah. I love that. I love to finish these episodes with some encouragement for the listeners and for people out there. So, what would you say to someone who is fresh and new in their unraveling or their deconstruction? They've just pulled on that thread. What would you say to them?
You can do this. It
Mm.
gets easier, it gets better. And part of why I wrote my books, so it's a trilogy: Unbelieved, Jaded, and then Whole.
Mhm.
And my hope is that it can be a shortcut for people. There's not really, I'm going to read one more poem that speaks to this.
Mm.
It's called A Note on the Trilogy, and it's from the final book. A note on the trilogy. When people are first deconstructing their faith, they're often not ready for the full Marla, which is why Unbelieve is the soft opening to Jaded, the bitchy little sister. But there are no rules here. You can skip right to Whole if you'd like, as long as you know that in real life, there's no shortcut to wholeness. And
Mm.
I say that, but I actually do believe there is a little bit of a shortcut, and that is by learning from people who have gone before you. And that's what we do, right? Like
Yeah.
when you're learning how to do something, example, one of my kids is crocheting and she's watching videos of other people who already know how to do it. And then she can do it right away. What if she had this thing of yarn and this little hook and she was just sitting there and had to figure out how to make
Yeah.
something? Like, how would she do that? She can't just figure it out of nothing, but to see someone else who's already done it and they
Mm.
can tell her how. I can't tell people exactly how, but
Mm.
there's a lot of things I address that you might have gotten stuck on, or that are really hurting, or a way to reframe how
Mm.
you're feeling. And it still to this day is painful to me to think about my sister disowning me, or things that I've lost, or my ex-husband cheating. But I've healed so much,
Mm.
and to be able to put that into words, and to give that gift to other people and say this might help. And what my favorite thing is when people read my poetry and then they start writing their own. Like
Yeah.
that's what I hope it does. It's very simple, it's easy to understand, it's easy to imitate.
Mm.
And I'm not saying write your poems just like me. I'm saying this is easy. You can do it. Just put some thoughts down, rearrange the words a little bit, and then you can have a poem that helps get out
Mm.
your feelings. And it's just so great. Just like your podcast, when people hear someone's journey, we're learning there's two different things we're getting from it: new experiences that are not familiar to us, and then things that resonate with us and that we can relate to. Like I listened to your interview, like when you were telling your story. And of course, there are things that like you're talking about being on a missions trip, and you're like, wait a second, why are we telling them what to do?
Yeah.
That's me in Cambodia. I'm like, wait, but they have a better way of doing this
Yeah.
particular thing, like squatty potties, which I also write about. Like, did you know that our body's natural way to relieve itself is to squat down into a position and then it comes out? Meanwhile, we're sitting up here on our thrones and we're like, why can't I poop? Anyway, all of that to say that my people who read my story, they're not going to resonate with every single
Yeah.
thing. But if they're deconstructing, I promise there are going to be the poems that they do relate to. And that's my encouragement. I am genuinely,
Mm.
genuinely happier, freer, more whole on the other side. And this is not I do a lot of writing for my job for entrepreneurs and people who are promising people things on the other side of paying them a bunch of money. You do not have to buy my books or read my books. Just go to my Instagram and get some free content. But I'm promising you, this is not a like a fake thing. I am genuinely so much better off on the other side. Same with my marriage. People actually told me when my husband left, they're like, you're going to be better off without him. He told me that. Like, he actually knew that. But I knew that, and I have a poem about that too. I know that I'll be better off on the other side of my marriage, on the other side of evangelical Christianity. Getting there is hell. Like, it was hell to go through deconstruction and divorce. But it's very, very true. Unlike if your child dies or something tragic happens and you're like, oh, it's better over here. No, to hell with that. But deconstruction, absolutely is better on the other side, because it's, well, I don't want to use the word right, but kind of, you're on the right side. Like, you literally you're on the good side.
The authentic side, the curious side, all of those things.
The whole, it's freedom and wholeness, and it's just so much better. And you can, people ask me if I've reconstructed my faith, and I say, well, I deconstructed my faith and then I put myself back together. I didn't necessarily reconstruct a faith. You can do that. You can go to an affirming church. You can read the Bible, whatever. You can read womanist theologians, do whatever. It doesn't have to look just like this, but I'm telling you, it's good.
Yeah. Agreed. Agreed. It's really good. Thank you so much for joining me. I have loved this conversation. I love talking to people so much, but I love when I get to laugh with people, because like that's my favorite thing in the world to do. So I love when I have guests that are not all like serious and I get to laugh with them. So that's great.
Yeah, I'm not super serious. I mean, I can be. I think I can't remember how much we talked about some serious stuff and some funny stuff. It's just, so my poetry, it's funny. That was really important to me, that I make it funny. Not every single poem, but hopefully you'll laugh when you read them. That's kind of the idea.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for joining me. It has been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you, Sam.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Beyond the Surface. I hope you found today's conversation as insightful and inspiring as I did. If you enjoyed the episode, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with others who might benefit from these stories. Stay connected with us on social media for updates and more content. I love connecting with all of you. Remember, no matter where you are in your journey, you're not alone. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep moving forward. Take care.